All right. So this is the second session of our Hack the Planet game called Report was Sown, and we have Asher, Christian, and Ryan with us today. As always, the basics. If anything should come up that's like that impedes on your fun or isn't feeling good to you, you can X card it, put it like this, or in chat, or you can go with your hand above the camera, or just say it. I want to X card that. Then we'll drop that and move on. Last time we saw our crew of Comets doing a breakneck maneuver into the wake of a ash storm that's probably still currently rushing towards Shelter 1, and where you used your crew's special ability to basically score a good haul of fuel. I think I'm imagining kind of like power cells being like super dense power cells being like very supercharged by the storm, and you getting away with that. There's a couple of things that will mechanical things that we can do right off the bat after a score, and that's called payoff and heat and those kinds of things. So let's look at payoff first. You get something for doing this score, and we can talk about kind of what it means, that kind of stuff. So payoff. The crew earns 2 rep per score by default. If the target of the score is higher tier, take +1 rep per higher tier. If the target of the score is lower tier, you get -1 rep per lower tier. If you keep the job completely quiet, you earn 0 rep instead. I don't think you aim for keeping the job completely quiet, right? You want to sell this stuff. So the target was an Act of God. The Act of God was tier 3. So you get 2 rep as the base, and it's 3 tiers higher, so it's 5 rep altogether. Someone of you want to just mark that down, or should I on the bottom sheet here? You see where it says rep? The crew sheet should be.
Where do we find it? On the crew sheet or?
Yeah, on the crew sheet.
Let's see, crew creation. Where is that?
On Roll20 itself on the playmat, scroll down.
Yeah.
There's your crew sheet. Do you see that?
No, if I scroll down, what?
On Roll20?
Yeah, I'm in Roll20. And
yeah, the playmat, scroll down.
Oh, yeah. Now
I keep forgetting it's down there, but I found it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, exactly. So you have 5 rep. If this is full, you have the chance to either increase your hold, or if your hold is already at strong, you can gain another level of tier. Right now you're tier 0. This is how you basically level up your entire basis or power of operations. Yeah.
What do you guys say?
So that's 5. Then you also get, say, this is 6 joules. So what I'm going to say, this was standard score, decent data, that kind of thing. And jewels is cred, or what was coin in blades. So you can divide those among you any way you like. The crew sheet can hold up to 4. I think you each personally also can hold up to 4 on a character. You see on your character sheet it says coin somewhere in the middle and underneath the healing clock.
Oh yeah. How much did we get? 4?
6.
No? 6 each.
Altogether.
Altogether.
Not each.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to divide it up as you see fit.
Do we need any coins to uphold our ship and so on, or for our
So luckily, the ship getting damaged was resisted. So that's good news. You don't need to spend anything on really big repairs. So I would say no, there's no upkeep specifically for your ship in that sense. You resisted that during the game.
Should we upgrade the ship, or how much? Where can we see the costs for ship upgrades?
Yeah, that's not how it works.
No, okay.
Yeah. Just decide how you want to divide up
right.
the coin right now, or the jewels right now between your characters in the crew sheet. And you can also put you can put 4 of them into the crew sheet, and then you have another 2 to divide. Or you can say, well, so last time it was Mikael, who might still be joining us. Depends how his work stuff is going. It's been an emergency, something happening today. But yeah, put those. If you want to say like each of you earned 1, and you want to put 3 in the sheet, or give 1 to Asher's character. It's all good.
What do you say, guys? Should we take 1 each and put the rest in the vault or something like that?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So we add 1 on the sheet under the healing clock. Yeah. So we have 2 left to put in our crew sheet.
So Sam getting 1 as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll add it and for
I'm
Asher
all for
too.
healing everyone in.
Yeah. So you've got 2 left for the crew sheet. Is that correct? Okay. Good.
All right, there you go.
Now the next thing is heat. Right after a score or conflict with an opponent, the crew takes heat. Add +1 heat for a high-profile or well-connected target. Add +1 heat if the situation happened on hostile turf. Add +1 heat if you're at war. Add +2 heat if killing was involved. And there's a baseline that reads 0 heat if smooth and quiet low exposure, 2 heat if contained standard exposure, 4 heat loud and chaotic high exposure, 6 heat wild devastating exposure. So what I would say is like, well, you going into a act of God, there's definitely some exposure because there will be someone will have started taking notice and having eyes on it. But I don't think any of the other ones will apply, so it would only be 2 heat. That sound fair?
Yeah.
So I'll mark 2 slices of heat for you. And right, because you're still people who are going against the corporate world, trying to make your own living, not doing what they want you to do or what they see you as fit for and stuff like that. Kind of living outside of society, trying to profit from society and undermining the rule of the big corporations. This is this thing where entanglements can come in. If you get too much heat, you get a wanted level. Wanted level mean like your entanglements will be worse. And that stuff you'll have to deal with during downtime. So after the payoff, roll dice equal to your wanted level and read the result according to your heat.
Mm-hmm.
So your wanted level is 0, so you don't roll 0 dice, you roll 2 dice and take the lowest.
Who rolls? Should I roll on D20?
Yeah.
Is that okay, Ryan and Ash?
Yes, I nominate you the roller for us.
Thank you.
Good choice.
Because that went so well with the...
So 4 was the lowest. Wasn't that low, but...
That's not that low. Yeah. And 4 is rivals. And this is still like, or I'm quite dead. That's not quite what applies in this game, right? I'll think about what that could mean, and that's something that will come up at some point during downtime. And rivals could be neutral faction throws their weight around. They threaten you, a friend or contact, or one of your vice purveyors. Forfeit 1 rep or 1 jewel per tier of the rival, or stand up to them and lose 1 status with them. And now we'd be entering downtime. To give you an overview how downtime works is...
Did we get crew XP?
Did you get what?
Did we get crew XP?
Oh yeah, we didn't discuss crew XP. Yes, last time.
Just so our ship can be more awesome.
No, that's cool. Let's do that. Yeah, you see crew XP down in roll 20. Very similar. The first one is execute a successful espionage, sabotage, or theft operation. Did you do that?
A theft operation? No, it wasn't really a theft operation. We
stole power from an act of God. That's
I was thinking more we smuggled it.
The airship is stolen, right?
Yeah, that's true. Or salvaged.
Yeah, salvaged. Yeah. Depending on who you ask.
Salvaged without establishing salvage rights beforehand.
Yes.
Yeah. So 1 for that?
Cool. Yeah.
Content with challenges above your current station. Yeah, definitely, right? The Act of God is a higher tier. That's above your current station.
Our current station's like 0. So.
Yeah, so that's easy XP. You just have to exist to get XP for that.
Where's this team sheet?
In roll 20, when you scroll down on the playmat.
Oh, on the playmat. Okay.
Yeah. That's an XP. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. So what's your reputation? Ambitious.
It was ambitious, yeah.
Yeah, flying into like that could have gone very bad as well and led you stranded in some kind of ashen landscape, right?
Going up against God.
So that's a 3rd XP. It didn't happen multiple times, right? express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew. This is the kind of gimme one from character creation, because we learned a lot about like who's this crew, right? So I think that's another 2 there. Yeah. Thanks for remembering, Ryan. Okay, so downtime. The way downtime works, or the way the play is structured in Forged in the Dark games is, you have the central thing of the score that you start with an engagement roll, and then you do the score, and where you probably accrue a lot of stress, and then that's it, right? And kind of opposed to that is the downtime, where you do what happens between scores, right? You you try to get rid of your stress. You might have like long-term projects. Like these are often like scenes that are that you get to choose what they are about. Then we cut over to the next character and see what they are spending their downtime actions on. There's this third mode of play, which is free play, and that's basically whenever we feel like there's a need for it. This could be part of an entanglement, or it could be something that you want to achieve that actually is maybe a little risky, or like the success of it is not really something known, but it's outside of a score. Then we go into free play, and we can actually do normal action rolls there as we would do inside of the score. So we always have that option to say, like if we find out that we're playing out the scene of a downtime action, and we find out, oh, this is getting charged now, right? There's not just telling us something about a character or something like that. No, there's a real tension here. We could go and push it there and actually do some free play around that. So that's what enables us to we have this kind of very clear structure between downtime and scores, but we can always revert to free play to go to things that we need or want to do. Mm-hmm. Now, do you have the reference open or the sheet? That's the second page. You can see your options for downtime.
Where was that? See on the second page? Oh, on the file you shared? Dropbox?
Yeah, I don't. Wait, I'll post it again in chat, so you can have that. It's also on Roll20, and one of the handouts.
Okay. I need to indulge vice. I need to remove some stress from my system. So I guess I'm word sick after being out with the crew, reaping the energy from this act of God.
Before we go there, I just wanted to have everybody. Are you on the page? Do you see that?
Sorry.
So you can choose that, because I have a couple of questions about the faction actually.
Yep.
Right. Because we discussed the mechanical bits of payoff and heat and stuff. Mm-hmm. But where do you actually keep or land your ship? Right. I think we kind of alluded to it. It is in one of those forged communities.
I think so. We had a sort of access to some sort of underground docking thing.
Yeah, you have a way into Shelter 1, right, via the passkeys and stuff like that. But is this actually you having a hideout somewhere in one of those communities, and then you, I don't know, like maybe there's some kind of standard transportation system that's up there?
That's fine by me. Makes sense, as I'm a forger, and Ash, you are also a forger, right? Hicks, was it?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it was forged.
And Ryan, you're Vera, right?
Yeah, I'm not from around here, but if you have connections, I'll use them.
Yeah, right. But I mean, you could hang around with us. No, I don't know if you want to hang around with us, but at least we have some sort of we have a reason to be outside the city or near the forger areas.
I think Vera far prefers the forged areas to the city proper because large cities like that are just uncomfortable. She's used to being kind of out on her own.
Yeah. You're all a little bit of kind of not outcasts, but kind of moving outside of the bigger civilized areas. But maybe let's talk a little bit about Higgs. So Higgs, she's right off. Is she the one who basically, when you return, takes that and says, "Awesome, great. Well, I'll take that to town, and gonna make sure we get a good payout for that." Said, or how are you imagining Higgs?
I imagined that I would have some sort of hacking project or something. So that's what I would get back to once the run was done.
Yeah, because I think one thing that is happening as you basically land and you like overtook the ash storm again, that is looming on the horizon. That's going to come down over Shelter One, over this Forge community, right? So I think as you land, you already like as you come down, you can see already like that most people are like everything gets tied down that can be tied down, and kind of depends how you imagine this Forge community to function or work. How they're like how living spaces are arranged here so that they work. But everything like doors get bolted down, that kind of stuff. Like any machinery, any solar panels that they have, like they probably don't have the technology to really pull them in. They actually probably get unmounted, right? So this is what's happening and maybe you were actually like keeping so one of the things is in the setting there's no internet anymore, so there's no wide connectivity or something, right? There's no news streams to tap into in kind of sense or data streams in that kind of way. What you do have is like maybe like local area networks over the place, right? It's much more about tech to be stable and doing the one thing it's meant to do than being like super valuable and work for everything.
Yeah, so then I would definitely want to go to the marketplace to figure out what all is going on too, right? Like get some intel for us as well, because that's where everybody would be.
Yeah, or I mean, they're probably packing in, right? Because if this ash storm is coming towards everybody, then everybody wants to secure everything down. But you definitely can be there when the rest of the crew arrives on the airship, right? And maybe you get the cargo off board, and like all of you, and you have Higgs there. Being ready. I don't know who would do like the how do you imagine Higgs welcoming them back, right? Because your crew kind of tight because like the quarters are on the ship. You actually live on the ship,
right?
All of you together. So that's a thing. So your home is coming back to you in a sense.
Yeah, I definitely miss them.
Yeah, and so is this like you're all taking preparations to make sure? Do we have a name for the ship yet?
No, we don't.
We need a name for the crew and the ship. So
Yeah, let's hear what the ship is called.
maybe we could play off Comet. The ship could be like Meteoroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works, given that that's not a class that actually hits down. So
It works. Yeah.
Awesome. Just write it down here. Around the ship. Okay. Yeah. So you're also like securing everything about the meteoroid and making sure it's safe to hole up and to weather the storm. Everybody is of course hoping like that none of those fishes, which are the actual dangerous thing, is gonna hit any of the communities or, my God, like straight on to the walls of Shelter 1. Because maybe like that's not the kind of test that they have like surmounted yet. Well, so we wouldn't know what actually would happen there. Yeah. And it's going to color the next days up to weeks, certainly, as everything gets coated in this thick ash and there's like lots of cleaning up to do afterwards. And a lot to be taken care of. And you said for Franco, you already know you need to
I need
indulge your
to. Yeah, exactly. I have an obligation to the people that are less fortunate in Shelter 1, the ones that live outside.
Well, here,
yeah,
this community, right?
Yeah, this community. Yeah, exactly.
This community.
But maybe there's like different parts of this community. So there are people living on the actual brink of the outer parts of the outer perimeters. So people are like living in old sewers or sort of infrastructural
ruins.
Yeah, more or less like what Shelter 1 is actually built on, like the foundation. So I imagine like maybe there are some tunnels and there are a little bit, maybe, I'm not saying the Matrix, but you know, like where people have sort of just in desperation trying to find shelter without actually having access to Shelter 1. So
it's safer underground and stuff.
Yeah. So my obligation is to help them to declutter the sewer system so they don't get.
Or you could just be hauling ash.
Yeah. I want to prepare because I know this ash storm is coming. So I know that.
Oh, I think it's already passed. Like this is like coming directly afterwards. That's what I meant, right?
All right. Okay.
We're zooming out now. We're going into downtime. Just wanted a picture of what it looks like when you come back. Everything gets covered by the ash storm, and now it's like what's happening the next couple of days and weeks afterwards.
So I'm like climbing ledges, getting mechanical steamworks to work again, like large pumps and sort of mechanical wheels and stuff, just to clean them up enough so the sewer systems can start work again properly. I guess I'm up there climbing long ledges and causeways and so on. Quite high up, I guess. I imagine, like using ropes and yeah. I also know my way around, my way around up there. So I may be gone for a few hours, but then I appear again with sweaty face but happy.
Yeah. Cool. Then
I'm not sure if that's enough, but that's
fine. That's fine, right? And you have an indulge vice button just below your vice. that you can use for this. It'll pick your lowest attribute to work with that. So is there quick question here? Is there like someone you know that's working with you there, or is this very much you on your own and trying to make the best of it? You're muted. You're still muted.
What do you say, Hicks, about assisting these sort of, I don't know what you call it, is it a cleanup mission or something like that? Does that have something to do with your gardening efforts?
Yeah, I'd like to help clean up. I know that's important. I mean, I'm just conflicted because I also feel like this is a great distraction.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Storm. So I
So
kind of
maybe-
also want to look for information.
Maybe I put pressure on you. Like, I need your help. I really need your help to get this stuff working. And I can also get you. If you help me, I'll make sure that you get enough water to your gardening projects or whatever.
Great.
I don't know.
Okay.
Have you planned for where you have them? Where you have sort of your gardening?
Well, I assume you have like a little side project thing, right, where you're doing that for your own. Yeah.
Mhm.
It was just a suggestion. Maybe you have some, but
I mean-
I ask you anyway. Like,
Right, ash is supposed to be super good soil or basis for soil.
That's a good point.
true.
I could pull some of the remaining ash for gardening.
Yeah. But what I find funny about this is like Franco is doing this to actually like feel better, right?
Mhm.
For you, it's just like
Work.
shitty work.
Well, it's useful. I just don't want to do it.
And you feel so good afterwards. It's just so it's like a sense of fulfillment. It's you're gonna feel so good.
Yep. So you, Christian, you get to click on that indulge button.
Yeah. So what do I add anything or?
No. If you
No?
if you can like say, oh yeah, like if you can bring a contact in that's actually helping you, then yes, I'm not sure a fellow player character qualifies.
No.
Because that would be too gameable.
Yeah. No, I don't have any friends or contacts helping me. That's one of my like. I imagine myself being pretty lonely in that sense. Like I see that this is a necessity to make this community work, but nobody sees it but me. So I'm a little bit frustrated in that. And maybe that's also a reason for it to become an obligation for me. Like no one else is doing it, so I need to do it.
If I understand correctly, this is really you going like, well, we need to help the ones that have it the worst among us, and that will help everybody. That kind of attitude.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So I roll the dice, the indulge dice. No bonus die.
No.
Dice. No. Okay.
You clear one stress. So it's not that, right? I think it's just a lot of ash, and everybody else is like busy with their own stuff.
Mhm.
The first people they forget about are those ones who have it even worse than them,
Mhm.
right? I think maybe the ash is even toxic at times. So this is actually not just a kind of work job, but something where you're actually, if you don't watch out, if you don't like use some kind of filtering masks and that kind of stuff, this can actually be a thing there. So the question here is, you have a second downtime action. You can double down on this.
No, that's fine.
It's fine. You want to keep it stressed
Yep.
as that?
Yeah, I'll. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how about Vera? Are you looking to reduce stress as well?
Yes, I'm looking to indulge my vice.
Yeah. What's that look like?
Not nearly so altruistic as Franco's. I'm waiting for the ash storm to subside, and then I'm gonna go hitting up my contacts for basically pre-shelter 1 junk.
Yeah, that's Rashma, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like while they're like, you can't actually really go outside anyways. While all that cleanup stuff's still happening, you lock yourself in with some old artifacts you've been given to examine and discern. Is that what it is?
Sure.
Yeah.
Mostly that, yeah, I want to get my hands on some proper stuff before this whole shelter nonsense. And yeah.
Yeah.
How does the project work? Because I wanted to work on a project, but I don't know if that would actually be useful.
We can talk about it in a moment. What kind of project you want to go on?
Okay. So I get a 1 for indulging my
Yes.
vice.
Yep. So also not that that useful.
So what does that mean in clearing stress wise?
You can clear one of those stress marks. Goes down by 1 basically.
Whoops. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want, you can double down on it with your second downtime action. Remember, you can all get more downtime actions by spending jewels on them. That's also an option. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Higgs, and you can think about if you want to do another indulge along those lines. So you've got your little garden. That's like your pet hobby side thing, or is it more than that? Because what you said, you want to pick that as your vice, gardening as your vice.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it sounded like. That's
So
why
you're
I was
actually
doing these
also
things.
doing it for the community. So this, because then it's also obligation. Are you like it?
I mean, if we don't have a garden, then we won't have like homegrown food, you know. So there's
Yeah. But you pick like when you pick your vice, you get the option basically of picking between faith, gambling, luxury, obligation, pleasure, stupor, or weird. Gardening sounds like obligation. If you're like in charge of helping the forge, this forge community grow a modicum amount of their own produce to survive, is that where we're going here?
Yeah, I think that's good. Maybe I keep track of like all the statistics about the garden, so if something goes wrong, I can help fix.
Mm-hmm. And then there's
stuff.
with every vice, there's someone a vice purveyor who gives you access to it, like an NPC, a person associated with it.
All my associates seem to be criminals. Well, I do have a vice purveyor as a friend here, Florencia. So that would probably be the person.
it should be a different one though.
Okay.
Vice purveyor is a different person than one of your friends. Unless if you wanted to be Florencia, we could make it that way. And you're tight with Florencia, right? If I see that correctly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
You want to make it her? What is she like? Is she like what the headswoman of this community or something? Like who actually says what happens and what doesn't happen in this community?
Yeah, I feel like Vice would be a big draw for the community, right? Like, so they would have a lot of influence. If they're giving out vices, they can say like, "Oh, this is okay, this is not."
Okay, so is she the one who actually kind of said like to you, yeah, you're welcome here when you help us with the growing stuff, because that's something we do not know about. Tell us how it works.
Yeah, I think it's like a rare vice, right? So
I mean,
it'd be
yeah,
more valuable.
Yeah, exactly. And I think then she has why the reason she's the purveyor is she basically has to say if someone wants to appropriate a building for usage for some kind, right? Like a prime building in the community. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
So why does she like? Why do you have a good relationship with each other?
Well, I grew up here, I think, so I just like got involved in the community. Sort of like how
is this family?
I don't know about family, but
I mean, these communities aren't that huge, right?
Okay. It could be. I was just thinking how like Franco is fixing things, and I would help like build things, you know?
Yeah. I think that sounds awesome. So what kind of family relation is she?
Maybe like an aunt or something.
Yeah. So do your parents still live in this community, or what's up with them?
It's a good question. I don't know where else they would go, you know?
I mean, yeah.
I think they'd still be here.
Yeah, so they have like a little hovel there as well and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're pretty well off for this community, I would assume. If like, I don't know if it's your mom's or your dad's or sister is the headswoman of everyone here. Yeah. Okay. And you said you might have a long-term project you might want to be working on.
Yeah. I haven't defined it yet, but
well, what do you want it to be about, right? So long-term projects is how you can achieve stuff that's outside of the scope of like one specific kind of action role, right? So, right, if I'm like the spy master and I want to have a new spy network established in that part of town over there, then I can say, yeah, that's my long-term project. That's what I'm doing. When you don't see like the action camera pointed on me, it's kind of boring work, but it's going to be one that will be helpful. Then I say, oh yeah, that sounds like a long-term project that has this big of a size of a clock, and then you spend downtime actions choosing an action, describing what you do towards achieving that goal, and to do a roll, and your clock fills up. When it's filled, you achieve that goal. Can also be building stuff, right? That can also be long-term projects or those kinds of things. You can really like, this is where you get to be like, okay, I have a neat idea, and this way is a mechanical way for me to find justification for fictional positioning later on.
Okay, I'm thinking something with like we probably have ID cards. Maybe I'm like tracking ID cards to do something. Like figuring out.
So the crew already has taken the upgrade of the pass keys, right?
Oh,
Which help you get into Shelter 1 and in between the bigger Shelter 1 districts. Like any district in of itself is already like a multi-million-dollar city, basically.
oh.
Shelter 1 is huge. Like that's right. It's the overbearing presence above everything in the setting.
So maybe I can try to use that key to figure out how to like track people. That's what I was thinking. Like track these keys in the city, or at least see if someone's coming nearby.
What would you want to get out of it?
Well, playbook's all about being stealthy and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if I can see if people are nearby, that could help us being stealth into a place or being ready when people come.
Oh yeah, so something akin to like getting a point and secure on the crew sheet.
Sure.
So basically, okay, you'll and we'll it'll be interesting to see what that means, right? How do you know someone is nearby that isn't supposed to be? How are people identified at all? There are ways to identify people via those nanomachines that are in the food. Most everyone has to eat.
That would be interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where secure is on the crew sheet.
So yeah, maybe we can see then in the fiction what it looks like in detail. Let's call that clock securing. Well, because we've said it's kind of securing your ship, access to your ship, right? Is that correct?
Well, you said on the crew sheet, so I was thinking it was more like detecting when people were near us. Like when we're on missions and stuff, not for the ship.
Okay. So then this is more like well, if you're on missions in Shelter 1, there's often a lot of people around you.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you detecting? Life signs?
Well, like detecting specific IDs, I think, right? Like if we're looking out for a certain person, it could tell us when they're nearby.
Yeah, so okay, so it's basically kind of like a like checking for traces in the air. So it's basically right, like a dog would be able to from the smell of a person identify, oh, this person is around me somewhere, even without seeing them.
Yeah, I think
That kind of
really cool.
Yeah. So you're actually trying to build a device of some kind.
Yeah.
Like, let's call it a sniffer.
All right.
I don't know. Does it sound cool?
That sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. I'm gonna say this is a it's gonna be a 6 point clock. And I'll indicate here on the side what that means in terms of so if you get if these two are full, if these are a 1, then you've finished building your device. And you'll have this little cheat on the right-hand side that tells you how many ticks are filled on the clock here. You see that? And the rest of the clock is in binary. On the roll 20 playmat, I added a clock here. Is Asher frozen for me, or? Yeah, I think so. Is it? Let's cut back to the other downtimes. When Asher's back, we can continue pick up there. I'll explain how that clock works. What's other stuff any of you want to be doing?
Ryan, have you declared your downtime? Are you?
Well, I was gonna do other stuff, but I didn't actually clear very much stress, so I think I'm gonna indulge Vice some more.
All right.
Yeah, I think, and because it's so similar, both of your roles, I think this just means it's a hell of a cleanup thing. Like, you actually can't do anything else. Maybe there's even a big machinery that needs to come to get rid of the ash residue that's kind of everywhere. So you're locked in at home.
Yeah, I have one more move, I think. I only used one to clean my stress.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Here's a trick, though.
Mm.
That's why there's a reason why I asked previously if you're doing, like, if you have any contacts or anything. If you can make the case why you have a contact who's like going along with whatever downtime action you're doing, they can give you a bonus die if it seems fictionally appropriate that they actually help you.
Okay.
Right. So if you, right, and for me it's enough if you can paint me the scene of what's actually happening, why they're helping you, that kind of thing. Like, if you wanna game for a bonus die and that stuff.
I'm gonna. Could I have one action. I don't want to clear more stress, but I'd like to do something else with my last downtime action. Would that be okay? If I sort of narrate it? Yeah.
What are you looking for?
So I have a contact Hansch, who is a data broker. Yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking maybe if I could sort of train with him, not per se, but sort of if I contact him and ask him about information about our enemies, or what did we call them? The gangs that we plotted against last time? Were they enemies or crew enemies, or?
You mean the Carrion or the Porters?
Yeah, any of them would actually do. If I would sort of, could I?
Oh, it's you keeping your ear out for trouble?
Through hands. Yeah. And by doing so, I could sort of spend time and effort with him learning about his ways of data broking, and in that way sort of learn something about the enemy, and as an effect of that gain an XP. Like, that would be training, so to speak.
Yeah. So if you notice on the crew sheet, the comets come with prowess filled out. So if you train prowess, you actually get 2 XP for training once.
On the crew sheet, did you say that?
Well, yeah, I'm just pointing it out on the crew sheet. The upgrade for prowess training is filled out. So if you spend your downtime action on prowess training, you get 2 XP for 1 downtime action. Now, that might not be completely in line what you were going for here.
Not really, but
But
I mean, at the
just
same
I'm
time,
just pointing it out. You can also train the other 2 and put 1 and only get 1 XP then.
yeah, I'll do it the way I initially said. I couldn't find the prowess. Where do I find that? I'm looking at the crew sheet now.
Well, bottom right in the crew sheet, you have all the crew upgrades, right?
Oh yeah, there's prowess. Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna do an insight. I think it should be right, or is it a personal?
You were going for insight, right? Insight training.
Yeah, insight training.
Yeah, then you put an XP in there.
Can I do that, or?
Yeah, you can do that on your on your character sheet next to insight. There are also the blade slices, and you click the first one.
Yeah, okay, let's see if I can. Ah, yeah. No,
not yet.
I accidentally draw squares on the crew sheet. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
How can I undo that?
I'm not talking about the crew sheet. You.
No, all right, okay. So you're talking
about your character sheet.
Okay.
Right, you need to take an XP on your character sheet.
All right.
At insight.
A long day here.
That's fine. No worries.
So I put one of the slices on top of insight. I marked that as yep. Okay.
And when it's full, you'll get another action dot and whatever action you choose that's inside.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting though, right? Because this means to go and talk to Hansch, who let me check. Yeah, he's a data broker, so he's definitely not active here in this shabby little outlying community thing. He's working in Shelter 1. So this is you actually going to Shelter 1 using passkeys to have no trouble getting in and out of it, right?
Yeah.
But you actually spending time in the city, keeping ear to the ground, and I think
I usually meet him in one of the clubs, like for one of the music clubs in the bottom areas, like a little bit ruffian but fairly trendy underground stuff. I think, yeah. We enjoy.
And I imagine this is you basically spending a couple of days there, hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Him actually like giving like you can use my kind of aging data pad and some of his equipment to actually get some insight and check some stuff and maybe like actually going out at night to some places to actually get some like actually hitting the streets together to get information. Like he's looking for stuff and he's brokering information, and there's a good chance for you to just get a feel. And we'll get back to that because that's an awesome opportunity for you to potentially gather information for a new score.
Yep. I need to switch rooms, so I'm just going to turn off the camera and I'll appear in 2 minutes, if that's okay.
And we'll get back to Asher to actually discuss what's up with your long-term project and how that works.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I disconnected. So
that's fine. No worries. That's cool. I put up a clock up here on the next to the little effect and position thingy.
So it's 6 segments put in by there.
It'll be 6 segments, and you've got the little cheat thing on the bottom right here that says you how many are filled already.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, like, if those 2 that I marked with the pink are A1, then that is 6 segments as well. Now, you're trying to work out how to build or make this sniffer. So first question there is, you're a haunt, but this sounds like you're actually quite good at like building stuff, like hardware kind of things as well. Is that true? Like tech stuff?
I think first I'm just trying to understand how the system works, right? And then put the building part is more off the shelf, right? Like I would take something that already scans, and I just need to figure out
How
the
to
system
modify.
these IDs use.
Yeah.
Right?
What I was getting at is this like a typical stuff because where you want to say yes, and I actually have action points because you still have action points to distribute.
All right.
So
That would be like modify action.
you could have in modify, or what it sounded like to me would be if your first step is just trying to discern how this might be approached, then it could be study, right? If the way you said, like, yeah, I want to find out how these things work first and actually make a plan how to build one. That's not very practical doing stuff. That's learning stuff.
Right.
That could be more study. But I don't get to decide that in this game. It's always the players who get to decide what action to roll. And yeah, during a score, then I can say, well, I don't see that working, so I'm gonna say that's gonna be desperate position with no effect or something evil like that. But during downtime, I don't have really much of authority about that. You get a lot of narrative control here.
Okay. I just don't know what all these are, so yeah, study sounds good.
Yeah. So so it makes sense that you probably are studied and have an action dot exactly in it. So now the way this works is you would roll study. So clicking on study and making a roll with it.
And controlled position?
It's actually a fortune roll.
Fortune.
Yeah, because there's no risk here.
And then effect. Standard.
Yeah.
And no bonus.
Well, yeah, you rolled already.
Yeah.
You can get bonuses for this, right? But that's fine. So you roll the 5, and this is almost always the same. 1 to 3 result is 1, 4 to 5 is 2, a 6 is 3, 2 6s critical is 5. So the clock ticks up to
One
where
or 2.
Yeah, we're at a 2. Right? Bottom right gives it away here.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the dice.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that just one dice got 2 segments.
Yeah, exactly. A 5 gives you 2 segments. 6 would have given you 3. If you roll crit, that would give you 5.
Okay, because I do have the ability, Rootkit, you get plus 1d and effect when hacking above your tier. But I guess it's not this.
Yeah. It's not hacking above your tier, because this is not hacking at this point, right?
Yeah,
you were studying. Yeah. And we haven't really, this is a long-term project as well, so we're also at a different thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. The different segments can be different things.
I mean, you can spend your second downtime on that as well, right? And say, describe how you're trying to build it, or anything like that, if you want to.
All right, I think I'll see what everybody else is up to first.
Sure. So Ryan, you're going to be having Vera indulge more?
Yes, I'm going all in on my vices this series of downtime.
So are you taking a trip to the city as well?
Yeah, probably am.
Yeah.
As much as Vera sort of hates visiting Shelter 1, it's a larger place. Yeah. I don't imagine there's a whole lot of old world stuff piled up in these forged settlements. Oh, and I overindulge, it looks like.
Well, is it? Oh yeah, it's a 5,
Because
and
I only have 4 stress left.
that's
Oops.
amazing.
I thought there was no way I could this time, but
Yeah, it's super unlikely with 2 dice or 0 dice, basically, right?
What happens then?
So what happens? You overindulge. You make a bad call because of your vice in acquiring it or while under its influence. What did you do? So what's the bad call here, actually? Is this like impatience and stuff? Anyways, you get to choose to either are going to attract trouble, select or roll an additional entanglement. You're bragging about your exploits. That's +2 heat. Lost, play a different character until this one returns from their bender. Or tapped, your current purveyor cuts you off, find a new source for your vice.
I think attract trouble sounds most reasonable. But in my pursuit of stuff, I'm crossing some of the wrong people, perhaps. Do I still clear stress, or do I have that in addition to trouble?
You still clear stress, so your
Okay.
the stress is gone.
I'm
But
stress-free, but have
yeah.
entanglements.
And we'll see what that is in a moment. I think let's see what the others are doing with their free downtimes. Oh wait, you already did your second one, right? Is that correct? No, you didn't. No, you trained. Yes, you trained. Yeah. Franco trained. Hicks still has a free downtime. So that continuing on that project.
I think I want to try to reduce heat on the crew.
The crew only has 2 heat. So
okay. I guess that won't be very useful then. Okay, I'll just continue the project then. That sounds more useful, you're right.
So what does this look like? How do we see you actually building something? Or a first prototype? Or is this you going bartering for additional parts? Or
yeah, I think this would be getting the parts like last time was studying the protocol. So this would be getting my prototype together. So I need the parts for it.
So what kind of action do you think that is?
Maybe the sway, right? Like trying to convince people to.
Yeah, if it's like you're actually trying to buy that stuff and.
I'm not sure what all the words. Oh, here, if I hover over it, it says attune. Oh, but that's all about ghosts.
There's also, and on the first page, there's also a description. So, sway is sway someone with charm, logic, deception, disguise, or bluff. Change attitudes or behavior with manipulation or seduction.
Right, because I also have attune, so I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Attune is hack.
Okay, so that's just straight up hacking.
Yeah, exactly. And you find on the PDF link that I gave you on the first page, all actions are described there.
So that would probably be the next segment, is hacking the subjects once I got it.
Well, right there is modify. Modify mechanisms to create, disable, or repair. Disable a trap, pick a crypto lock, or crack a smart safe. That's modify. And hack what is around you, whether it be electronics or rework physical objects. So yeah, there's overlap between those two, and you're free to decide what is more the thing that you're going for.
Well, first I need to get this object, right? So
yeah, or stuff for spare parts, like scrounging that together, getting people to just give them their old electronics or something like that.
Mm-hmm. What ability do you think that would be?
I don't get to decide. That's your player's predator.
All right, I'm just trying. So far, I think Sway is the best.
Yeah, I think so. It's a good match, definitely. And you already have a point in Sway from the playbook, right?
Hmm. Or Survey, if I'm like looking through the area.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? If you can get a contact involved, and tell me how they are involved with it.
I do have a lot of shady contacts. Well, there's Gem, the porter, right? They're all about transporting objects. It's not what porters do.
Where do you have that contact?
Under Florencia, it's Gem.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. A corrupt porter. Okay, so he isn't like that. That's not a person who's like really you know of them, right? And you know where to find them if you want to get in touch with them, but they're not necessarily friendly towards you. The porters themselves are not friendly towards your crew, but this is a corrupt porter. So this is this could be a thing where it more sounds like you might be going into like there's stuff on the line. There's tension here if you want to go along with that contact, which can be interesting. We can just explore that probably in free play then, right? And let's see what do you want from that contact. How are they going to respond to you? But there's a danger there. There's a risk involved, I feel.
All right. Well, then maybe Florencia. They could.
Yeah, just describe me how that looks like. Like how does she help you with like scrounging these spare electronics up?
I think she's just familiar with the city, so she can tell me like where to go look. You know.
Oh yeah, she's connected in the community and people listen to her, right?
Right. Like so maybe
you ask her to put in a good word for you, like put the word out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
sure they like recycle a lot of things. So
yeah.
Put me in contact with the recycling people.
Yep.
In case anything comes in.
So tell me a little bit about her. She like she consider you like her protege, or what's the relationship like? We know it's friendly, it's a good relationship, but on what level is this like?
Well, we established that we're family, right? I don't know that she understands what I'm doing exactly, right? Like, I think she still finds my skills valuable, but it's not exactly what she's used to, right? Like, she's used to all these other types of vice, like making food isn't really a normal.
Oh, so what's her main source of influence then?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think what kind of vice would be in this area, right?
I mean, does she have like the contacts to be like, well, here, like just feel good drugs for people? Because that's kind of a miserable life out here in the Forge communities.
Right. I'm imagining in another game there was like a wine shop. So maybe that was also like a VR area, maybe something like that, but like with drugs instead. Right, like they have alcohol and harder drugs as like a way to escape.
Oh, so she has like the only like entertainment, leisure kind of type of thing in this community.
Well, there might be also like media types of things, but this is the only like sustenance version of that, right? And maybe
where you can get like hang out and for a drink and I don't know, like what kind of entertainment is provided there. It's very unusual out in the Forge community, I assume.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, what kind of entertainment is provided there? It's very unusual out in the Forge community, I assume. Like, what kind of entertainment is provided there? It's very unusual out in the Forge community, I assume. because living is so hard. But this is the one place. Is that what you're going for?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, awesome. So you can add that die, and she definitely can help you out with that stuff. I do have a question. Well, you can roll. I have a question for Franco though. So, what's your opinion on this Florencia person who brings like sin and pleasure and stupor into the community instead of like right someone upstanding being the community leader?
I think that she maybe I don't like her. I think maybe she maybe Franco sees her as a corrupting force to some degree.
Yeah.
Like now she comes again. Look, what did I tell you guys before? And then like sort of, I'm not out to sort of become a problem for us here in the group as players, but I think Franco's outlook is maybe like he puts a lot of effort into sort of creating a better society, and maybe if she
you kind of frown upon it,
yeah.
But it's not like that. You haven't had conflict with her yet.
No, exactly.
Yeah. No worries, that's still to come.
But I don't like conflicts. I think I was thinking about that as sort of a stealthy infiltrator. I think I tend to avoid conflicts. Maybe so. Maybe she has sort of taken some space from me, and I sort of glide away and try to not be in her path.
Oh, interesting. Maybe. Yeah, interesting. Cool. Yeah. That's definitely interesting. So you rolled a 5 though, Hicks. That means 2 more pips. So we're almost there. Like 2 are still missing. So here's a trick or something you can do. When you get a result in a downtime action, you can spend jewels to push that result up to the next level. Now, going from a 4 to 5 to a 6 is not that that's a little bit costly, right? If you already rolled a 6, going from a 3 as a or getting 5 instead of 3, that's valuable. Like pushing a 6 into a crit is valuable, for example, right? But for example, if you needed this thing done in a pinch, you could be spending 2 jewels now and getting that thing done. Of course, you could also say, I'm going to spend 1 more jewel to actually have a third downtime action, and then you get to roll for that stuff again. So those are options you have there.
What are the jewels? I don't see that on the sheet.
Those are creds. That's the stuff you were given.
With the coin on the sheet?
Coin on the sheet, yeah. Yeah, it's right. This is like the crew still has 2, so you have 2 to spend, right? It's always useful. Also, I mean, it's kind of sometimes useful to have these to spend in to do flashbacks and be able to bribe someone, for example, right? So having someone on hand is definitely not a bad idea. But I know many players who like just at the beginning of a campaign, like blow every cred, jewel, or coin they have on getting all the downtime actions they need to get themselves into a position for the stuff that they want to do. But I would say we'll take a break now. You can think about if you want to do other downtime actions for jewels, but we also have 2 entanglements to still see how they turn out. Okay? So 5 or yeah, let's say like 25, we'll meet up again. Cool. Awesome.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey. Okay. Okay, Vera, you remember Nor? I think he might be a perfect fit here, right? You slighted him before.
Yeah.
Do you remember what this was about in detail?
And it seems too
Or
edgy,
put.
but
Yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was thinking that in previous attempts to indulge my vices, that I'd somehow kind of strayed into, I don't know, maybe interacting with people who are already wanted, or somehow crossing the Sentinels. And he's crooked. He probably could have been bribed or something, but I didn't react the way I was sort of supposed to, given that I don't really get the flow of Shelter One in a lot of ways. So I've kind of personally offended him, as well as also
caused him trouble and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe left traces where he was like, God damn it. Right? Yes. And I think, and you can tell me if that's fine for you, because he might be the most vulnerable contact you have to this entanglement, and that's what entanglement asks for. But maybe ever since then, like internal affairs has been on his ass, and he's basically been pulled in for questioning by them. And yeah, I think he even he did leave you some messages, right, complaining about this. So you have a general rough idea that this could be going on, but not necessarily precisely.
So he's already ticked at me, and now I've got his superiors breathing down his neck.
Yeah, so or like internal affairs were like investigating him and putting him,
Yeah,
like questioning him,
they
and
know he's crooked.
Yeah, that might cause some additional heat for you as a crew. It's basically questioning. A sentinel grabs an NPC member of your crew or one of the crew's contacts to question them about your crimes. Who do they think is most vulnerable? And we'll make a fortune roll to see how much they talk. 1, 2, 3 is +2 heat, 4, 5 is +1 heat. Or pay the salaryman off with 2 jewels. So you have that option.
Well, I don't have 2 jewels.
Yeah, but the crew has 2 in the vault, so. But the way you characterize Vera, she doesn't give a shit about that.
I don't think Vera would, and she definitely wouldn't dip into the crew funds for this kind of thing.
Okay. So then you get to make a fortune roll. There's a fortune roll button on your sheet.
Oh, and how many dice am I rolling?
1 die, right? He doesn't really like want to incriminate himself, but he's also fine with like selling you out.
So 3.
3. So that means +2 heat for the crew. I'll mark that down for you. Yeah, and you have to choose before the roll, obviously, right? So that's something that's happening in the background. Yeah. He probably leaves you a couple of messages that aren't too pleasant on the well, the question is, how would messages get around and how would they be used and what form would they take? Because if there's not an interconnected world, right, then maybe you actually have to pick up your mail when you're in. That makes sense, right?
True. And Vera doesn't bother to pick up mail very often. When she does, like the box is just full of notes saying, "Why are you doing this? Come on!" It's just like a week late too.
Yeah. And the last one is kind of like you'll get what's coming to you, right? Something like that. So you have a rough idea, that the heat has risen on your crew. So that's one of those. I think the other one I'm interested in is so where do you have your garden, Hicks? Is that part, like, is that a structure that's connected to Florencia? That was her name, right? Or is it separate? What do you imagine this is, and what does it look like? Mainly a question for Higgs, but it's also a question where you all hang out.
Maybe there's some sort of I don't think maybe sports is really a thing. I don't know, maybe. But I was thinking maybe some sort of violent underground. I'm not sure how much post-app is this. Is it a civilized city with law and order and?
Well, not out here. Not the Forge communities are self-policing.
Yeah, all right.
And so currently they're being policed, or this one is being policed by Florencia. So,
Cool.
So I mean,
a little bit more wildish.
Yeah, it could be, but it's also the only place in town to get a drink or something, right? So, but I don't know how much if Franco would hang out there.
Maybe a bit, yeah.
But my other question is also, what's up with that garden? Like, what kind of structure building is that? Where is it located? Is that associated directly with Florencia, or is it separate? Is that where you, or is it directly next to where you keep your airship?
I saw it as like a separate building, but she uses the food, right, for the bar.
Well, yeah, it's produce for the entire community, right? And she has you be kind of like, well, you know how to do this, so manage it. That's your obligation there.
It was just like an abandoned building or something, right? Usually these indoor farms are in like big warehouse buildings, and then they build like terracing, so you can have different levels of greens.
Yeah, nice. And you spend a good time a day working in there, right? Or being around there, at least.
When I'm not going on missions.
Yeah. Yeah. So how would like someone coming there, would they like just walk in? Is this how this works in this community? Or do you have like a big climate sealed door where you hear suddenly a pounding on it sometime during the day?
I think we use the community to help farm, so it's like a community garden, but you have to sign up to do it, right? So it's probably tied to the IDs again, so you like scan your ID and get in.
Yeah. So
but only at certain times.
So you have like, then I don't know, one of the workers out of the community is there who's like kind of calling out to you. Hicks, there's someone here to speak to you. Where do they find you? Like, what are you like hands in the soil, or are you just or working doing something differently right now?
I think I probably have like a little office outside or something. Outside the main area.
By the way, do you have an obvious cybernetic enhancement where an additional action dot would go? Or do you not know yet?
That would be for 4 action dots?
That for one action, an additional action dot somewhere. I'm just asking kind of like what Hicks's looks are like. That's kind of where I'm getting at.
Okay. I don't think so. And I think I wear like a big trench coat type thing. So you wouldn't be able to see much anyway.
Okay, so you're mostly concealed with the clothing you're wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you going on about? What are you doing?
Probably just like monitoring the systems, making sure everything's working correctly. Doing some maintenance on the watering systems, or
yeah.
Well, I'll probably take them aside to my office to talk.
Yeah, so you like take them over to the office and I'll come talk to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Good. So as you like prepare yourself in your office, the worker opens the other door and a pretty sizable guy walks in. I have a picture for you to show you. Like obviously not of the community. This is obviously someone from Shelter One. And with also a very obvious right cybernetic arm. This is the guy. And he's already coming in with like a sneer on his face and kind of like looking around and being like right, like maybe looking over any of the seeds or things prepared here that should be sown out and stuff like that, looking them over and being very much sneering over them, and it's like, well, cute little operation that you've got going on here. If you push this any further, it's just Nourish gonna come by and take this away from you. You know that, right?
Who does he address? All of us?
It's only Hicks that's there.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I mean, you're free to any of you to say, this is when I'm coming in back from the city, or anything like that. Like you're welcome.
Sound was a little bit distorted, so yeah. But no, that's cool. Let's let Hicks have some space.
All right, so we take our chances.
You'll take your chances, huh? Well.
It's worth it for the food.
Is it? And he looks kind of back out, like out of the window of the office, and is like, "What are you actually growing there? Does it taste any good?"
Even if it didn't, it's worth it to keep the community involved and give them things to do.
Well, at least you're enterprising. And I think you could use a hand or two here. Let us come in, look at your stuff. Maybe we can maybe we can even help you improve some things.
Who are you exactly?
I'm Gorgra.
Gorgra.
I come from the Split Peas. So the only decent people who know how to grow decent food without any. I bet your soil is already not pure. And when he says not pure, he means there are already nanomachines in there, and so what I'm here to suggest is a cooperation. Well, if people from us come by every now and then and check up on things, maybe bring you 1 or 2 new seeds, see if you're pure enough.
It sounds more like a test than cooperation.
Well, lucky you get that offer then, aren't you? And he gives you like
in return.
So what's happening mechanically here is rivals. A neutral faction throws their weight around. They threaten you, a friend or contact, or one of your vice purveyors. Forfeit 1 rep or 1 joule per tier of the rival, or stand up to them and lose 1 status with them. Right? So you could either pay 2 rep or 2 joule, one or the other. Right? Probably if you say, yeah, this sounds like a good deal, you're probably losing rep. If you're, it'd be interesting, but what would be the 2 joule here? But I'm open to suggestions for these as well, right? Or you tell them to go piss off, and then you're gonna be at -1 with the split piece because they know, right? They probably don't want any other. They have the hands full fighting Nourish, and
I think I want to use the jewel because I want this to stay a community garden, right? If I get involved, then it won't be anymore. It's just the same thing as.
So, what's this? Yeah, that's interesting. But what's this mean?
So I think if they're offering seeds and stuff, we'll pay for them, but we don't want them to actually do the gardening. We'll pay for the expertise.
Okay. So it's you going well, actually, how about this, right? And then you go we're super interested in your tech, and we're let's build a friendly business basis, but we don't want your guys snooping around here. But yes, let's get a relationship going, because then they would be okay, if they have a relationship with us, they won't have a relationship with Nourish in any kind of sense, right? Or if they get to, we'll hear about it soon enough. But to spend 2 joule, that's the question here is, do you just do that and spend it out of the crew's coffers, or is this a thing where maybe this is even something all of you have foreseen and talked about previously, how to handle that kind of situation? Or are the other players even fine with that? Do you even want to spend 2 joule on just to not lose a status with the split piece?
Here would be against pissing off the split peas, given that they believe in proper gardening and not this genetically modified garbage and stuff. So, yeah, even though she's not here, you probably know that she would be okay with it.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Yeah. So,
I think we probably talked about how to deal with Nourish, right? And that this is even better because we can get allies against them.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. So I'll take off the 2 joules from the crew sheet. And how do you handle this with Cobra? You can tell me, it's fine for you too.
Yeah, so I think we want to keep this as a community operation, but we're happy to pay for services that help it out, right? Like we already paid to get seeds in the space.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sounds awesome. Cool. So are there any other downtime activities that you're burning to take or that you want to go ahead? Or vice versa? Is there already something on your minds that you feel like could be the next job or that you want to pursue, like a goal that's more important to you, that you want to take care of, or that you want to get progress on? Right? This talk with the split P situation could roll into the next thing. Franco, you're also perfectly positioned if you wanted to gather information into a specific direction of things where you want to find out stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's gather some information then. Down in the club.
About what?
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. Could this split piece happen before I went after my? No, this is actually after I went after my data broker. What do you guys think?
It could be either way, but what do you think?
Yeah, because I could, if we have discussed the split piece deal afterwards, maybe I went after some information about them to see if we can find some something useful about them, maybe. Or I don't have anything straight away, to be honest.
Also, what I mean is also more like talking intentions, right? Where do you imagine you want to go there? If you're talking split piece, does this mean you want to like increase like your relationship with them?
I say we paid them now, right? We paid them.
Paid them a little bit for like for a couple of services, something like that. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, I'm explore to see if we can find some catches, or some for future blackmailing, or like some sort of weak spots that they haven't covered, or something similar.
Okay, so you want to get dirt on them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the words. Yeah.
Okay, so this is not about improving relationships.
No. It's rather like I'm a little bit of an instigator, so I'm thinking like maybe we could. That was just a thought. I'm not sure if everyone is up for it, but it was.
Right, like it's a. I like the thought, right? It could also be a. That is also something that you could do even as a long-term project, right? If just your character is out to like,
right.
Well, let's have some insurances. I want to dig up some dirt about the split piece, and I want to start a long-term project doing that.
Okay.
It could be so if you like, right? If this is like something individual to you,
it isn't. It was just based a little bit about what we spoke about a few moments ago. But if we forget about that for a moment, I was planning like to go after my data broker and to find some sort of useful information about our current enemies that we spoke of last session. Like if I remember correctly, we had some sort of mercenary gang that was some sort of enemies.
Yes, you're at -2 with the Carrion, which are a tier 4, I believe, faction.
So I'm gonna go and try to see if I can find some information through my data broker about them in regards of their issues with the law, to see if we can find some dirt on them, basically.
What are you looking for, like specifically? What are you hoping for to get?
If they have made any breaches of agreements, or like if they did not commit fully to contracts they've signed or something like that.
Okay.
So
and what's the idea or the intent behind this? Like, what are you angling for? If you, like, let's say you get this information.
Yeah. What sort of news outlets are there in Shelter One? Like, are there some sort of hollow decks or
there are the there's stuff like that, like smart paper that's being sold on the street. A lot of that is probably controlled by some corporation. There are the flickers who are tier 2. They are underground private investigators for hire that are motivated by the truth more than jewels. They want scoops that they can disseminate to the masses via flashware.
Yeah, maybe something like that. The thing is that we haven't played that much, so I'm just sort of trying to gather some general information to see if we can build some interesting thoughts on that.
Yeah,
but later down the road. Yeah.
But what I'm getting at here is, what do you? Maybe let's hear the other two. What do you see? Like, what do you want to achieve? Like, actually, where would your intentions be? What do you want to do?
I want to see if any of the leaders have committed crimes and have
That's
done
not
away
what
with
I'm talking about.
Oh,
I'm talking about, what do you want to be what do you want the next score to be about?
Okay.
Is it stealing that data? That could be an option, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm asking the group here. So let's hear from the other two, maybe. Where your thoughts are going?
I honestly have no idea. Wherever the next score goes. Cool.
Yeah, I just spent a bunch of money, so I want to get more money for the group. That's my main objective right now. I like this blackmail idea. I think that could work.
That could be interesting, blackmailing someone. So here's another thing to maybe give you some guidance. If you look at the crew sheet, right? So one at the bottom, it says like the hunting grounds, like those, or the other one is the crew XP, right? You get XP for espionage, sabotage, or theft operations.
Oh, yeah.
So that gives you an idea. And your hunting grounds, we haven't really chosen them, what they are. If they are retrieval, espionage, robbery, or sabotage. I'm half thinking it sounds like retrieval from the first session and the way you're angling to be, but it's up to you. And the third thing to look at is if you look at your lair, the spread where you see the turf, these are also things you could be angling for, right? And they could be part of a objective in a score.
Okay. So
I'm just checking if.
Okay, a suggestion then. What about we did some sabotage for this Mercs gang by finding out where they work, or sort of what sort of missions they have, and sort of trying to intercept a delivery they will guard or something like that, and sort of get away with that and use that for blackmailing them, or get some money from them or their employers.
So we're trying to blackmail the Carrion by doing their jobs before they can?
Maybe.
Or am I mixing up the thems?
Yeah, if we find some information about if it's sensitive data that they don't want to lose, maybe. If we could find that and steal it from them, we will sort of sabotage their work and even thieve. It would be both sabotage and a theft operation, maybe. If we look at the crew XPs. Contend with challenges above your conversation. That would also be
echoes from the past, so we could interact with things left behind in the Reach. That would be an interesting angle. Like, if these corporations have secrets that are left behind in the Reach, right? We can find out. That'd be interesting.
So the idea is looking for.
weirdness.
Sorry, please, Ryan.
Oh, I was saying I forgot about the Reach weirdness. I'm game to see what is actually going on out there.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like there's one through line in the I see in the crew that is like investigating stuff from the civilization before the disasters, and the other through line is kind of what can we do to help this community here. So it might be interesting to have the score be somehow related to either one of those or both. So if you're saying, well, you're already you're already keeping eyes out for the Carrion who really have it out for you. So you want to be safe. That makes perfect sense for you to gather information. And maybe you find out about an opportunity there that will like weaken their position or something like that, and B, but might also hold interest to your more broader desires.
Sounds interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk gather information. So gather information is a thing you can do. It doesn't cost anybody basically, but you have a good fictional positioning for doing it, right? Being consorting with your data broker, and you're looking into maybe future targets of the Carrion that you might like sabotage or maybe get the scoop out before they're done, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Could we do some teamwork?
So
just survey, like we could start up with the surveillance teamwork just to sort of help each other to retrieve the correct information about their whereabouts or something like that.
So gather, yes, potentially you can help, but that is an assist that costs stress, right?
Okay.
So what's a lot more helpful is if you have a contact that you can bring up here that helps you in gathering the information, and you have a perfect setup for that. You're already there with your data broker, right?
Hench, yeah.
So the question is though, how do you like find out? Is this because you talk to the right people? Is it because you're like sifting through data? Like what action do you actually want to take while you're out and about with Hunch? Right.
Okay. Yeah, Hunch. Yeah. Did we annoy the Carrions last session? Did they find out about us, or are they looking for us?
Well, they're pissed at you because the passkeys and maps were designated to be theirs and not yours.
Yeah.
And I don't know if how consciously, when you got your hands on them and kept them, you were knowingly pissing off the Carrion, but they're pissed off.
Yeah, right. So they know about us. That's what I meant. So
yes,
this could be one of those classic scenes, in a nightclub with deafening sound and lights and strobes and lasers and all that, and like you're sitting at the table and you're sharing drinks, and Hans is like pushing over an envelope with info like, I intercepted this, I heard about they keeping their eyes open for you guys. You're it's not good. You better get away from the streets. If they catch you, you know, or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
And yeah, and we sort of discusses what happens. He's an old friend of mine, so he won't betray me. We trust each other. So I asked him to find out some more about what's going on in their line of work and what they have signed up for the coming weeks. And maybe he will get back to us and keep us updated on this.
Yeah, Franco, you gotta be careful with those ones. They're ticked off that they don't get into the council of the city.
I know.
By the other corporations, and they really don't like to be. You're poking a hornet's nest there.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? They can't find. They can't beat, right? So we'll just stay away. Thanks for keeping your eyes out.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I find anything.
Cool.
You got anything to go on now? And here's the thing: you're still doing the action, not the NPC for you. So I'm asking, what action are you actually using here that he's helping you with?
Maybe he and his associates can be just the ears and eyes for us. Nothing registered, just like picking up rumors.
Yeah, but what are you doing? What is Franco doing? What action are you using to get information on them?
Except besides speaking to Hans.
Well, you need to pick an action to roll, right? I don't get to say what action you roll. I mean, it sounds an awful lot like consort to me by what you're doing there, but you don't have any dice in the consort.
No, so what do I do then? Do I roll 2 dice and keep the lowest?
Well, first you have to actually say what it is. Is it consort?
Yeah, okay. Consort makes sense. Yeah.
The sheet handles it for you. You click on consort, and it will roll to. But you will get 1 bonus die because this is your contact. This is your friend that's helping you.
So what do I do then? Do I move from risky to control or?
No, you pick a fortune roll because I gather information. It's always a fortune roll. It won't have any directly negative consequences.
Okay.
Like even on a 1, 2, 3, you will get some vague information.
All right. So roll fortune, and then I add 1 die.
Yeah, 1 bonus die.
Okay. And notes, is that what do you call that?
You could write down. This is getting info about but you don't need to write anything in there if you don't.
Right.
Just so 4. That's good. 4, 5 is good information. So I think, right, we said like you're kind of doing this for a couple of days, and you're like, I'll get in touch with the people I know and see what I can find out. And I think right before you a couple of days later say, okay, I gotta go check back. We also need a name for the community, by the way. Like, what do these people call themselves? He goes and
Hanch people. Are we talking about his community?
No, not your community.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
What's the special Forge community like? But before you leave, right? He drops you off at one of the subway stations. He offhandedly pushes kind of like a dossier into your chest, right? And maybe on your way back, we already see you like filing through the information he's gathered for you. He's gotten you. One thing kind of sticks out to you where they definitely have like an increased effort in getting expedition parties together. to hit unknown targets out in the reach. Now, this is not in there flagged by Hange or something, or they're out to get and hit your community with any kind of violence or that kind of stuff. It's not flagged as that. It's flagged as something like, well, they're trying to either destroy or get something, and he's got some information about a future target.
We could probably intercept them or something like that.
Yeah. So that's something where you could disrupt their operations.
Cool. I'll bring that back to the
to the group and show it to them. So you have that information in front of you, all of you.
Hicks, Mira, look at this. One of my old friends just gathered his files. Check it out. Seems to be some sort of... What do you make out of it?
Looks like something we can intercept. Looks like a job.
I think here's the thing you notice, right? Because you've got the pass keys to the city, but you've also gotten maps that were originally designated for the Carrion. Now, just Hange's information on itself doesn't really tell you where this stuff is, but it maybe does have like some data on some coordinates, and those work with your maps. So maybe as you bring those maps out and you see them and you get a rough idea what this is. It is at that location is something that is marked as a something. It seems to be high up in the mountains, and speculation is, so that's just your speculation. This might be like some kind of old research station or something like that.
Cool.
It's defunct. Nobody would actually go out there. Like, it wouldn't be worth the resources to get there. But it's not uninteresting, Vera, right? An old research station from the time before. Who knows what's there? And why do the Carrion... The data makes it sound like the Carrion wants to destroy those places.
Clearly we need to get there first and help ourselves to it. I'm tempted to yell it belongs in a museum at this juncture, but Vera does not care about museums, so...
We can start our own museum.
Yeah, so this is where we would cut over to the actual score planning, which is very much abstracted in the game. If you is it, by the way? Second. It might not be in here. Anyways, what you get to do is, though, because I think it's on your character sheets. Yeah. So in the middle column, right, where all the items are, there's planning and load. And there's choose a plan, provide the detail, choose your load limit for the operation. And this is like, okay, you'll be picking what kind of plan you want to go with, and then provide a detail regarding it.
I can't find not
on
which sheet.
on your character sheet.
PDF.
Looking at the crew sheet. Yeah.
Under your items,
Mhm.
there's planning and load.
How about stealth? Keep it. Stay away.
Yeah, like you don't want the Carrion to find out you were there.
Exactly, especially since we got the information from Hans, a sort of a secret underground thingy.
Yeah, so it would
Maybe
be
stay out of sight.
you get there, get the valuable, whatever valuable stuff there is, get out before, I don't know, they bomb the place or whatever the plan is.
What do you say, Vera and Hicks?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe deception would work too. Like, I feel like a cover story if this is supposed to be blackmail, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What should we disguise ourselves?
Well, is it blackmail? This is getting the stuff before the Carrion destroys the place.
Vera is primarily interested in swoop in, take the stuff, and they knew we were right, and they never knew we were there. But the rest of the team is welcome to have their own approaches because she doesn't need to get her way.
And so if you the main difference here is if you pick stealth, you need to detail what's your point of infiltration, right? How do you get in there unseen? Like, what's your angle? If you pick deception, you need to kind of explain how is anyone being deceived.
So yeah, we can't do both, right?
Yeah, it's one or the other, and this is it's mostly entanglement role.
Yeah, I'm open to any.
Yeah, I think stealth works better. His deception, we would still have to like have a reason to be there, right?
And also, it could be that no one is there. They're just going there, destroying it, and leaving again, and then we would be inside and maybe not so happy.
Well, that's a good idea. Maybe we could get in and frame someone else for doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
doing
really
what?
cool.
So, like, we show up pretending to be a different group entirely and watch the Carrion's job.
So who would we like to frame this?
So just to help me understand, if you leave like evidence there, and then they bomb it, then there is evidence is gone.
Oh yeah.
Or
If they bomb it, yeah, okay. Yeah,
right,
maybe
that's your assumption right now with the data you have, is that they blow that place up.
Ah, all right.
Like,
Yeah, I guess
maybe
that would be
like
the
you're not sure if
steal
like
stuff.
they might be dropping bombs, or maybe they have like people assaulting it and then planting charges. Maybe that's not the detail. Like, you didn't get great detail, just that they're out to level whatever that research station is.
Okay, should we just be quick about it and? Oh, sorry, Matthias, was that a question?
No, it's
Yeah, so it sounds like the deception would be having to deceive these people trying to blow it up, right?
yeah, right. Like deception. If you want to go for deception, it sounds like you want to do. You want to deceive the Carrion so that they blow up the wrong thing.
Sounds a little bit complicated.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Oh, I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah, but how would that go about? How would we do that? Do you have any idea?
So with stealth, you would just need to provide what's your basic point of infiltration, right?
Mm-hmm.
I assume you take the airship somewhere close, hike the rest of the way so you can approach unseen and try to get into the place.
Yeah, I was more thinking of the deception? If that was the, how would that look? People would have to be there, right, to be decepted, or is it?
I mean,
Yeah, I was
it's
thinking
considered
we
as
could
deception.
pretend to be one of these people trying to blow it up, right? Like
Yeah. Okay.
pretend like we're trying to plant bombs or something and actually steal things.
Mm.
And that way we wouldn't have to worry about getting in because they were already getting in.
Okay.
I mean, the place is old and abandoned, right? Supposedly no one lives there.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking more if we spin deception, then it'd be like trying to blow something there to cover our tracks, make it look like someone else blasted their target before them. But that does kind of make it a very complicated.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
if we,
Yeah. It sounds a little bit complicated. I was thinking also time when we aim to do this tonight, this heist.
We'll definitely roll engagement. There's a couple of questions we go through for engagement. We roll the engagement, and we definitely have like the opening scene. But we need to save a little bit of time for doing XP. So yes, it's good to like just decide to go with one plan, but also be able to provide like the detail.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the nice thing about stealth is we can use explosions, right? Because they're already blowing this place up. So that would still be pretty stealthy.
Shall we go with that? I think it's most straightforward. And
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe that could be our entrance, is just planting a bomb. Since they're going to blow it up anyway.
Okay, so basically the idea is coming from the far side where no one would expect anyone, and then you basically just blow a hole in to get a good, quick way in and out. Yeah, that's definitely the point of infiltration then. You now get to pick item loadout, so you choose with what kind of loadout you go onto this job. So the three different ones are light, normal, and heavy. What do they mean? So light means if you go light, you actually don't look like you're out on a job, right? You can pass as civilian, something like that. If you pick normal, then you look like you look, depending on what kind of character you are, but you look like, okay, you're going out to do something. It's definitely some kind of conspicuous look that you have on you, right? You're carrying like some kind of gear, that kind of thing. If you pick heavy, you look like you're packing, like you obviously have your assault rifle slung over your shoulder. You're looking like you're going to war or something.
So I think we need to be lighter because we're taking stuff back, right? So we still need some load to take back.
I mean, you can still leave like stuff there then, right?
Well, and theoretically, we can bring all sorts of stuff back because we're flying our house there.
Fair enough.
I mean, if we choose to go heavy but don't use all of the equipment slots, would that mean that we can bring more back, or is it sort of just a fictional
it's just
abstraction?
You can always carry heavy load stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Right? If you just pick that stuff up during the mission, that's fine. Now this means how much stuff you can in the mission you can take from your item list, right?
Okay. I was just thinking that so we don't limit ourselves. If we arrive there and find like heaps of valuable and interesting stuff that we want to bring back, and then all of a sudden we can't because we all chose heavy and we sort of used up all slots.
Light, normal, heavy means how much stuff you've packed going onto the mission. It doesn't determine how much you're generally able to carry.
Okay. All right. I'll go normal, I think. Normal.
That sounds good, yeah.
I'll do that as well.
Okay.
Can you go over some of these items? Like, what's a sun jet?
Sunjet is a sunjet is basically a plasma cutter, right? That's
Oh, cool.
you can cut through heavy metal sheeting and stuff like that.
That's very useful.
You don't decide now which of those items you have.
Okay.
You just decide the load, and when you're in a situation on the mission where I would need a sunjet now, you say, I pull out the sunjet, mark off that item. Now you're carrying it, right? It takes up one of your loads, or two, I think, or one, I don't remember. But you have it now and can use it. But then that item slot is gone for other usages. That's a slightly slightly more intricate than adventuring gear from Dungeon World, if you know that, how that works.
Right.
It's like, because right, you need like all kinds of stuff, and if you decide now, then you'll bring stuff that you won't need, and that's not fun for in the fiction. You're competent people, you would have brought the stuff that you need for this kind of job. Until that moment when you don't anymore, because you've run out of uses of your load. Okay, so everybody chooses normal. Now we have a couple of questions to decide how many dice we get to roll for the engagement. You get 1 die for sheer luck. Then here's the question: is this operation particularly bold or daring? I think yes, because you're moving in a place that's either going to be stormed or bombed, and you're under time pressure already.
Yeah.
And you want to get in and out unseen. If something goes wrong, you might just find yourself under, like being taken down with the research station, right? Yeah. So that's +1 die. So 2 dice. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors?
I don't think we're contingent on anything. Just getting in, getting out.
Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward in that sense, right? So you don't suffer penalty here. You're still at 2 dice. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Not
We
really.
did find this vulnerability, right?
Yeah. Not really. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? No, like the Carrion doesn't know you're coming yet. So
And it's not defended at all. This is like an abandoned building.
yeah, but the target is kind of more the Carrion that you're trying to hurt here than the building as a target in itself, right? Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? Do you have a contact that can provide, like, has more insight that we could talk, that you can like offer up here, talk about?
Could be the data broker Hunch, if he was more involved in the heist or whatever we would like to call this. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he kind of basically he gave you the. That's how you know about this. Like that's the reason it exists at all.
Yeah.
This might be like, do you have maybe a contact who might know about this research station, or like right the surrounding terrain or anything like that might help, or a Carrion contact who knows like
So could I
standard
say that
operation procedures or stuff like that.
I've got a friend, Raphael, who's Merc for hire? Could I say that she's previously worked with the Carrion a bit, and I could angle its information about like how much time we probably have, or how they would go about this, or something?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, like asking her, like in a sense, like, so theoretically, if the Carrion were to hit the target outside Shelter 1,
And
like,
she's not
what's the operating?
I'd never betray the Carrion or anything, but
Yeah.
theoretically, they might do this sort of thing as we're like hanging out
Yeah.
having a beer or something.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, so you get another die for that, so that's 3 dice. I don't think any enemies or rivals are interfering in the operation. Like, you're not that big of a blip on the map yet that someone has it out for you. Are there any other elements that you might want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target will give you +1 die. Maybe a higher tier target will give you -1 die. Yes, like Carrion are elite. Like, it's only a political situation where they're not part of the leaders of the council, right? And they're highly trained military people. So -1 die, which leaves us at 2 dice for the engagement roll. So who wants to make that roll?
Someone else can roll.
Is it just 2d6?
It's yep, but you actually go and in your character sheet you can click on roll fortune, because the engagement roll is a fortune roll.
Okay.
And
Roll fortune. I don't see it.
it's on the right hand side, underneath your friends.
Okay. So 2 dice.
Yep.
Notes.
And here in the note field you can write engagement roll if you want to. All right, that's 6. So 6 is a good result. You're in a controlled position when the action starts.
Great.
And
Well played.
yeah. So so you've taken the Metroid up into the high mountains, like way above the snow line. This is it. I think we get like a glimpse of you actually flying over one of the glaciers that are that are still there, right? You also check like your airship, and you get like the sign that I think this is happening in the early. This is before sunrise, right? So it's still dark, and we actually get like a clear sky of stars ahead that are being reflected down on the snow. And you set the Metroid down in a nearby little valley where it's hidden beneath like a cliff rock and then, like inside one of those ice formations, right? And we get like this montage of you like tracking the last part towards the target. And we reach and I think on the way here you even had sighting, right? You had a sighting of the what you were proposing. Those might be Carrion. So you're thinking, well, you're good on time. You should be well ahead of well ahead of them.
So we land there.
Yeah, so you landed there, you trekked up, and you're approaching what seems to be the target, the research station. It doesn't look like much, right? It's almost like completely covered in snow. It's just you can make it can make out that from the way things are lying, and one huge antenna that's going up with like proposed there were instruments on there at one time.
Mhm.
Is this like above the clouds? That's a common thing.
Yeah, exactly. So like the atmosphere is thin here, and we haven't like seen the detail of how you're equipped and stuff, but we imagine like you at least like pretty much covered up and stuff. We will definitely have the clock of the Carrion arriving, right? But it's an 8-segment clock. And you're coming from the far side. That wouldn't ever have been like the access side, right? That was here. We can blow a hole into the back of it. And that's where we start. You're in a controlled position. You can set the charges and what this would look like. Yeah. Now the question is, we have like half an hour left. Could start with this, but I would only go like another 50 minutes and then do our XP stuff. Maybe we want to stop here, do the XP, and then spend another 10 minutes just reflecting, maybe talking about what other stuff we want to see. And next time we can actually do the breach of the station proper.
Mm-hmm.
That sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then who, or should we start with the crew? Yeah, let's start with the crew, right? Execute a successful espionage, sabotage, or theft operation. Did that happen? You get to say, I'm just moderating this.
We just started it. I don't think we were successful yet.
Yeah, super successful.
We haven't failed yet. So.
Everything is as it says until then.
We did find the information, so that could be espionage, right? Mm-hmm. That was successful.
So. Yeah, because we did find information they didn't necessarily want us to have.
Yeah. So 1.
Yeah.
Then contend with challenges above your current station.
I feel like doing anything involving the Carrion is so far above our current station.
I mean, you did get the mechanical penalty of -1 die, so that's fair. That's definitely 1.
Mm-hmm.
Did it happen more than once?
Yeah. What about those peas? What's it called? Split peas?
Yeah, the peas. Split peas. I think they were above our station because we're like station 0.
Yeah, they're two.
Everyone's above our station.
Yeah, and this is content, right? You just need to wrestle with it. And you did pay like 2 jewels to get them. Yeah. Okay. Then bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. Your reputation is ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
Did that come to pass? Oh.
I think that worked with the peas, right?
Yeah.
We talked to them and got them out of our business.
Yeah. I mean, we started up with also like competing with the Carrions. So, but we haven't seen the results of it yet. So the question is if we get.
I mean, there's no question that you have the ambitious reputation, right? It says, did you bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one? So did you do something to bolster your ambitiousness even more?
I mean, I think this mission's pretty ambitious, right? Like getting in and out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no one's supposed to know about it.
But Hunch do, right? Hunch do, and
Well-
his closest.
And my contact knows that I'm definitely not planning anything with the Carrion, except I was asking some questions. So
Okay, so
Maybe
yes. Okay.
that creates waves on the pond, maybe.
Then express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew.
Maybe not.
No?
Or did we? What sort of
The
goal?
entire session was downtime. I think this is the one that carries the most weight, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we found out more about our drives. And
So the four things are goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature. So yeah, maybe you didn't have really any inner conflict that was visible, like two people butting heads of opinion about a thing. That didn't happen.
Okay.
Essential nature, we got more into that you're very much part of this Forge community, right?
Yeah,
Like, we
okay.
didn't do that
Okay, to
last
some
time.
extent. I was looking more at goals and drives, maybe. Because that I see someone who almost like that if we role play out our goals and sort of integrated that into the narrative, maybe that was what I saw. But as I say, like we did a lot of downtime, so maybe that
We can get up to 2 XP here.
I feel like overall we established that we're very, like I said, it's rooted in this Forge community and also very independent because we did a lot of trying to throw off people attempting to buy in or control the operation.
Yeah. And we did have the long talk about what kind of what kind of score would you be pursuing now, right? That's talking about what are your actual goals.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah, I'll buy into that.
So 2 for that
Mhm.
entire thing. Well, that's definitely a crew up advancement that you'll get. Maybe we finish with XP and then talk about how those advancement works. Who wants to go first with their character? Vera, you want to start?
Okay.
Just calling people out. Sorry.
Did I address a challenge with tracking or violence? I don't think I was really on the tracking so much. I almost leaned into consort.
Yeah. Most of the stuff that you did was doing the
Yeah. Well, and I didn't say roll a desperate action, but I didn't roll a desperate action.
Yeah.
I definitely did express my beliefs, drives background with continuing to blow off poor Nor, the crooked sentinel, and
Yep.
the
We
fact
saw
that I spent
more
the
about
entire downtime in my vice and so on. So
Yep. So 2 for that?
I will give myself 2.
Yeah.
And I struggled with issues for my vice.
Yes, you
To say
did.
yes, given that I overindulged.
Definitely. Yep. So you could also put those into prowess, for example, right? If you want to get a point more there. But if you're aiming for the playbook advancement,
I think
no,
I'll
the special
put
ability.
playbook advancement.
Yeah.
Powers and
Like
stuff.
those look more fun.
Yeah,
I get
they look
it.
exciting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Awesome. Then Franco.
Mm-hmm. So I made. Was that a desperate action? No, it wasn't.
I don't think we had any risky actions at all, right?
No, we didn't.
No.
I addressed the challenge with stealth or evasion. I did, both during my obligations during downtime and the way we approached this mission, I think.
Yeah.
Could that be so?
it's you need to live with yourself. But I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am sort of I see myself as a mischievous infiltrator, intelligence gatherer, a little bit afraid of conflicts and so on. But I think during my encounter with Hunch,
we definitely got to see you being like, we already know what your relationship with Florencia is like, right?
Mhm.
That you don't like her, but that you're not confrontational.
Exactly.
That's definitely one of your that goes into beliefs or maybe drives like avoiding direct confrontations and stuff.
So was that one for my beliefs and drives then?
Well, I would say that's like something super about your personality, right? And then we also saw like your entire vice indulging was about being like we saw your vice in action for the first time, so that's definitely part of your beliefs and background stuff. So.
Okay, all right. I'll mark one for my beliefs and one for my vice as well.
But you didn't struggle with those, right?
Struggle with the vice?
No.
Didn't I? I was up climbing on the ledges and help cleaning up after the ash storm.
So I'm open. You can decide, right? The way I always read it is you struggled with issues from your vice. So if there was fallout that you had to wrestle with, like Vera, right? Who overindulged and then someone.
I see. Okay, no, that didn't happen then. So. All right, so I'll mark one for beliefs as well. Okay.
Yeah, one more. You were one off, I think.
Yeah. Two left for playbook advance.
I think it's one left.
Okay. Sure.
Because you reset it now, and we were already at what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'll check that again. Okay.
I think that's correct though.
Yep.
And again, these XP you can also put into insight if you want to, because you trained insight, right?
Yep.
So you could be putting them into insight as well.
Yeah.
To get that additional point. Then Hicks.
All right. So no desperate action, as we established.
Yep.
Address the challenge with deception or influence. I think I addressed the challenge with influence, like paying people money, right? Like we gave them money.
Yeah, definitely.
Express beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. And like you said, the downtime was all about that.
Yeah, also it's a given. This is character creation for you, so you get to, I would say, always, because we learned about everything in that sense. So.
And struggled with issues from vice or trauma during the session. So my vice is gardening, so I definitely explored that a lot.
Well, but that's not what that says, right? Did you struggle with issues from it?
Well, we had to deal with the other people, right?
Gardening attracted unwanted attention.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So.
Again, I usually use this as a GM to like poke and prod and see what's really important to you. What do you think your character's about and stuff, right? So, like, don't take this the wrong way. I just want to see, and I'm completely fine with you going, no, I definitely, like, this is so important to my character. I'm going to give myself 2 XP for this. It was only one scene, one little thing, but it's super important. I'm going to give myself 2. Like, you can definitely voice your and like take a strong opinion about your character here. That's good for me to see, because then I know, okay, that's important to you. This is an interesting bit where if I tie that more into the story in the future, it's definitely going to be something that you're invested in. Cool.
So then that's it.
So we have a crew advancement to spend, right? And we can think about this for a week and decide beginning next session or something, but maybe to talk about how this works. It's fairly straightforward. So you can spend the crew advancement to either get another special ability or 2 crew upgrades.
Is that the layer or?
Yeah, so crew upgrades is all that's on the bottom right. So, right, for example, if you wanted Comet rigging, you will have 2 extra load that you can just spend on tools or gear inside of a mission. That doesn't increase your light, normal, or heavy limit. The second point in airship would mean it's armored, it can sustain some damage. Right, it can take a hit from something without going down or that kind of thing. You could also get a second airship. Quality means basically if you ever use that kind of stuff, it's usually a +1. Right, so if we would be playing a mercenary crew, we might be getting weapons or start even out with weapons, so we can on battlefield contend with higher tiers earlier. We maybe are not good at negotiating, but we can fight them as a idea there, right? Training, that came up, right? If you take the point in training, you'll in the future you'll get for 1 downtime action using that 2 XP. Or you can spend both of the crew upgrades on getting a cohort, people working for you, for example, from this Forge community. So those are basic options. Or you take no crew upgrades, but 1 special ability. That's also open to you.
I was wondering about the thing on the right, all the checkboxes and things. Interrogation chamber, drug den, turf.
Yeah, those are the ones. That's why I asked before. If you want those, you need to be angling for those in the fiction, taking them away from someone else. Right. Yeah. So you can think about that. We can decide the beginning next session. I mean, what's always nice to take early on in a cruise career is there's one for Comets called Born to Steal. That basically gives you 1 more action dot across the board for everybody. That can be super helpful. It's not the most sexy of special moves, but it's definitely a high value at the beginning of.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Are there any other questions, topics, things you want to see, or questions you had about how the session went? Or do we actually want to go and do a debrief? Take 5 minutes and do a proper debrief? I know. Does that sound? Yeah.
Yep.
Do we want to do it here?
Yeah, we can do it here.
Yeah. So, and back in 5 minutes, I'll stop the broadcast. We can do the debrief.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Yep.
Then.